Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this live, interactive telephone town hall that we led today by UC Benefits Policy Director Susan Dickinson. My name is Dirk, and I'll be moderating the call today. Now, the goal of this event is to provide you with helpful information and to answer your questions, as well as update you on Pennsylvania's unemployment benefits programs during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, as I mentioned, this is an interactive forum, and we would love to hear from you. If you have a question, you can press *3 on your phone keypad at any time, and you'll be placed in line to speak with a member of our staff. They'll take down your name and where you're calling from. Then the next time you hear your name, you will be live on the call and able to ask your question directly. If you are streaming the event on your website, you can simply type your name and question below the streaming player. We'll do our best to answer as many questions as we possibly can today. And again, to ask a question, all you need to do is press *3 on your telephone keypad. If we're not able to get to your question, please send us an email at uchelp@pa.gov. Now, to get our call started, I'll hand it off to Susan Dickinson for a few opening remarks before we go to caller questions. Susan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dirk. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us at our weekly town hall for unemployment compensation. I actually do not have a lot of announcements as we usually do. What I want to talk about before we start taking questions is this new software that we will be using called ID.me. And the reason I want to share this is because a lot of you every week when I'm answering your questions, a lot of you are PUA claimants, and you're PUA claimants who have had your benefits held while we're verifying your identity. So I've been sort of alluding to us getting some sort of IT help in the future, and it's finally here. So I do want to describe ID.me, and then we'll move on to the questions. So the ID.me software is a third party that will help us verify your identities. Right now, as you're probably familiar with, we have you upload your information, 2 forms of ID, to your dashboard, and then separately send us an email to say, hey, I've uploaded my thing to my dashboard. Please, check it out. And then, staff have to go through those emails. They have to log into your dashboard, see that the things are there, make sure everything's good, and then they can move forward and, release your identity hold that's on your claim. So, and as you know, it is labor intensive. It's been taking us weeks and weeks to get these verified. And we're not, Pennsylvania is not in this boat alone. This is every state and its PUA program. So there are a lot of states that have, signed contracts with ID.me, and they're going to be using them to help them clear these identity issues. So Pennsylvania is starting today. We're actually going to be sending some claims to ID.me tonight. And what you will see is if you are, for starters, if when you signed up for your claim, you had a choice of how you wanted to be notified about things. So regardless of what you choose, there will be an email in your dashboard to tell you that you need to go do this ID.me verification. Again, it's not necessarily going to be all claimants. It'll just be ones that through whatever fraud filter our system has, you may have been caught in one of the fraud filters for whatever reason. So you'll end up getting one of these. Also, all brand new claims may get one of these. We're doing additional fraud checks, and if they fail those fraud checks, they'll also go to ID.me. And the instructions that you'll receive in an email in your dashboard, you'll definitely see, if you've noticed, if you've ever received a dashboard email from us, when you open up your dashboard for the first time, there will be a pop-up there that says you have a message waiting. So when you log into your dashboard, anytime you see a message waiting pop up, you want to go look at your message because it's something from us that we probably need from you, whether it be, we need information on this situation, or in this case, it could be an ID.me pop-up. So if you signed up when you first opened your claim, if you signed up to receive just dashboard messages, that means you won't receive a separate email to your personal email saying that you have a message. Keep that in mind. So those of you who did sign up saying, please notify me by email, the system typically generates, whenever you receive a message, just a standard email that says you have a message waiting in your dashboard. So regardless of which one you signed up for, everyone, the next time you log in, which is probably the next time you file for weeks, there could be a message there waiting for you. Now, keep in mind, we're not sending all claims at once. ID.me does have a so what I'm looking for, a quota, a maximum of ones that we can send each day, especially since we're just starting it today. We can send several thousand, but then it's going to increase as the weeks go on. We can send them more. So you may not receive an email tonight. Several thousand people will, but you may not be one of them, but you will soon. As we make sure that we work with ID.me and that this process is working well, that there's no glitches, then we increase how many more we can do, and then you'll receive your message. So once you receive the message, let's talk about what it is you have to do. So there will be a link in that message saying you have to go here and you have to, verify your identity with ID.me. So again, this is a dashboard message. The link won't be in any other type of email that you receive from us. It's just in your dashboard. So that's how you know it's secure, that this is a real email that we sent and not some sort of a spam thing. So it's in your dashboard. There's a link, and it's going to take you to a page that has our little PUA logo in the upper left-hand corner, but it's actually a page on ID.me's website. And then you're just going to follow the instructions. I actually followed them myself and got my identification verified several weeks ago when we were doing a test run for them to see how it works. And it really is very easy. If you have ever, looked for you can get a free credit report every year. They ask you some questions about, did you live on this street, or did you, have this color car? That's one way that identity can be verified. And they will actually ask you, they have 4 different options, and they'll ask you which one you prefer. So you can go that route of answering questions, which is the route that I chose. You can also go a route of documentation. You can upload passports. You can upload licenses. And here is the final option, is the one that really sets ID.me apart from any other company. And that is their trusted referee process. What that means is that you will actually be on camera with someone at the ID.me company to verify who you are. So it's interactive, real time. And this is helpful. A lot of those, like I mentioned, having to answer, questions about my credit history and past, that only works if people have a credit history that the software can pull from. So especially for individuals who may not have a lot of credit history, ID.me works well because it looks at other things. And that's why, a lot of states are using this, starting to come on board, and the federal government, because it reaches far to be able to identify people. So once you have gone through the process, for me, it really only took 3 minutes. You'll go through the process, and as long as everything's good and you're passed, you successfully get verified through ID.me. ID.me then sends us that information, each day. They send us back to our system. Here are all the people who passed. And then we have our vendors take all of the holds off of your claims, and it's all automated. And that's what makes it a lot faster. So it's going to be automated. They're going to take the holds off your claims. And then, if that was the only issue on your claim, that means you'll get paid within just a couple days. Now, please remember, some people have additional issues. You have actual eligibility issues. Those would still, if you open your claim, you haven't been paid yet, and there's an eligibility issue that we have to look at, that's still a separate thing that we have to be able to review. So you're not necessarily going to get payment right away just because you passed the ID.me verification. If there's some other issue on your dashboard, or some other issue why we're holding payment, then that also has to be resolved. So in any case, we will send a confirmation email. It won't come the same day that you're working with ID.me, the same day that you do it. It's going to be like the next day, where we confirm that, again, it'll be a dashboard message, and it's very brief. That just says you've successfully passed ID.me, and now we're going to proceed with your claim, something along those lines. So it is a fairly simple process. you can start looking out for those. If you have sent information if you have uploaded your dashboard information already, and you sent us an email to DLI Verify, you'll be among the first individuals sent to ID.me to be verified. So you will have to sort of do it all over again, but again, it's a quick process. So you will probably see something, if you're not in the group tonight, which is the very first night that we're doing it, in the next week, you'll receive your ID.me message, and then you'll be able to go verify yourself. So, and then after that, there's a lot of other holds we have on claims for identification for various reasons. We'll proceed in the coming weeks to send these ID.me messages out to everybody. As soon as, ID.me, as soon as we verify the process is working, and we can increase our volume that we're sending them. We're excited about it. We've been waiting for weeks and weeks, and I know you'll be excited about it. We'll finally get through and be able to release your payments. We're looking forward to it. So far, the other states we've talked to have said it's been working well. Everyone's excited about it. So, we're hoping for a good launch tonight. So a week from now, we'll definitely see how it's going, and we'll know more about it. So with that, I will start taking questions on unemployment claims.
Okay, very good. As a reminder, if you have a question you'd like to ask live on the call, please press *3 on your telephone keypad to enter the question queue. Again, *3 to ask a question. Joining us first, we've got Linda on the line with us. Welcome to the call, Linda. Go ahead with your question, please.
Hello, and thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Thanks so much, and your weekly, it's so helpful to all of us, believe me. I received a letter saying that my PUA will be expiring soon, and my business, I am self-employed, will be closed until April of next year. Due to COVID, it's a restriction the mayor in Philadelphia has already put on businesses such as mine. I have two questions. Should I continue to file regardless of not having any benefits left for this year in case the feds add a stimulus on that we don't know about yet? And two, after December 26th, will I be able to file again for PUA? Will that be available to self-employed independent contractors? Thank you.
Hi, Linda. Thanks for joining us. Those are all great questions. So far, there are no extensions of PUA. That is exactly what we're waiting with the federal stimulus to see if they extend all of these CARES Act programs. The PUA program was part of the CARES Act signed back in March, and it ends December 26th, as you mentioned. So as of right now, there's no way to file a new PUA claim for any weeks after December 26th. So, we're waiting around just kind of like everyone else was saying, okay, what's next? It would be helpful if we could plan ahead and be able to, get the extensions ready, et cetera. But it looks like there's no federal movement right now. So we are also waiting for it. I know that actually usually the secretary had been pointing this out. There are a lot of other programs in state government that if you look at Department of Health's website, and there's some other websites out there, you may be able to find assistance in other ways, even if, unemployment is not available. You can check it out. And I know that we also have some links from our website to those other sites, so you can see what might be available. You can also go look at DCED's website. If you go, just Pennsylvania DCED, just Google that. They can also have some resources for you, especially as a independent contractor. You can see what they have available, and they may have something until the next stimulus comes around, or until they do something to extend the current programs that we have. So right now there's nothing, but, keep watching federally and go check out those websites and see what else you might be able to find.
Now we've got Jim joining us. Welcome to the call, Jim. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Yes, how you doing? My question is similar to hers. But it's, I got 3 different amounts for my PUA. Yesterday I got the third one, and it went from having money in my account to a zero balance. My question is, does that mean I was paid the 39 weeks already and my PUA is over? And if so, because I'm not back to work, am I able to apply for SBA loan?
Hi, Jim. So the different amounts, it sounds like your weekly benefit amount probably changed. And usually the reason that this happens is if documentation is missing to support a higher weekly benefit amount. So back to the CARES Act and the federal, guidance and how we're supposed to run the program, et cetera. The idea behind PUA is the same as disaster unemployment, which is called DUA or DUA, we refer to it as. So we have PUA and DUA, and they're run the same way. So an individual can sign up and, if especially you're an independent contractor, so we don't have wages on file for you, you can provide to us what your quarterly wages were for the base year, which was 2019 for PUA. And, we'll set your weekly benefit rate up to that amount, whatever that amount is. But within 21 days, you need to supply documentation to support that amount. Otherwise, what happens is you go down to the basic amount of weekly benefits, which is $195 a week. So you may have been at a higher level, and then someone reviewed the claim, didn't see documentation to support. Generally, what we're looking for, especially if you're self-employed, is net income for the year 2019. So if they didn't see documentation that supported the quarterly net income for 2019, it would have been revised down, which in turn, like even if you've only been paid, a certain number of weeks, every claim has a maximum benefit amount. So you can't receive more than whatever the maximum is. And the maximum is your weekly amount times 39 weeks. So if you do that math real quick, whatever it is times 39 weeks. So let's say you only got paid, 15 weeks, but it was at a really high amount, $500 some. When your weekly benefit amount gets revised down, now your weekly benefit amount is $195 times 39. So it's quite possible you've already maxed that out, whatever that amount is, and that's why you would have a zero balance. I hope that wasn't too confusing, but that would be the reason that you would suddenly have a revised amount and a $0 balance. Now the good news is that it's not. It doesn't have to be a permanent change. If you can get receipts or something that proves your higher rate, you can still have it revised back upwards. You just have to be able to, get those documents, obtain those documents somehow, and upload them to your dashboard, and then alert us that you've done that and that you're seeking a higher amount. The PUA program is different from regular UC in that regard. For regular UC and most of our other programs, we have very strict timelines in our law that only allow 15 days for you to appeal or make any changes or anything before it becomes final, and it's final forever. So PUA, as I said, is modeled after DUA. So it's a federal program, and they say that we can still make changes back and forth to your weekly benefit amount as we go along. So even if we get into December and you finally get those receipts or get those tax returns or whatever, and you're able to produce it, we can still revise you upward, even though you've already had your claim for months and months. So it's a very strange program in that regard, but it does give you an extra opportunity to be able to make those changes as needed. You did also ask about other loans, which I can't really speak to since it's not really a labor and industry type of program. However, as with Linda, our last caller, I would recommend that you go to DCED's website. Again, search Pennsylvania DCED, and that's like the first thing that comes up. So if you check out their website, they may have resources for small businesses and be able to give you some idea of what other assistance is out there.
All right, we've got Timothy joining us now. Timothy, what's on your mind?
Hi, good afternoon. I am out of extended benefits. So my 13 weeks of EB has expired last week. So, I mean, do I file for PUA or do I just hope that the Fed or whatever mood Donald Trump is in today and find out if they're going to extend anything for us? Or am I just done? I don't know.
Hi, Timothy. It could go one way or another. So you may be able to get PUA, and I'll explain what the calculation is and how we figured that out. And I did say last week we were putting information on our website, and it's still not there. So I promise it'll be there soon to explain this. It is kind of tricky. We were waiting for the U.S. Department of Labor to give us some answers, and we did get them. So we're going to put the information up so individuals understand. So once you're done with all of the CARES Act programs, you've either gone UC to PEUC to EB, or some people may have started with PEUC back at the beginning of April and moved through. PUA is possible, but there's requirements, of course. It's a different program, so you would have to meet certain requirements. First of all, the number of weeks available to you for PUA won't be 39, which is what it is for someone who goes directly into the PUA program. You would have to subtract any weeks that you received a UC or an EB payment. And this is where it gets a little confusing. So notice I did not say PEUC. So you don't count PEUC at all. You can forget about PEUC. But you look back to see how many weeks, actually look at your calendar and in which weeks did you receive a payment. So it didn't need to be a full payment. Maybe some people were working part-time and you received a partial payment, whatever the actual weeks are that you got paid for, you want to subtract that total amount from 39, and that will be what you might possibly be eligible for. And you start counting with weeks at the beginning of February. So if, let's say you started a UC claim before the pandemic, let's say you were laid off, in the beginning of January, you wouldn't count the weeks in January. You would count the weeks starting in February and subtract those from your PUA entitlement. So with that being said, PUA also has the reasons why someone can specifically file for this particular benefit. Of course, one of the reasons is you don't qualify for any other programs. So you would just have to make sure, if you're still within your UC benefit year, that means, you can't file a new UC claim. That means you can't get any extensions. So you're good there. But if you might be able to qualify for a regular UC claim, you would have to go that route first. Then you have to look at the CARES Act reasons. There's a list of 11 reasons that they gave, such as, your business is closed, or your child's school is closed and you must, be, home for them. There's a whole bunch of reasons there, 11 reasons, which you then have to choose when you are filing your claim. You have to choose which of those reasons applies to your situation. So when you're looking at it, if none of those reasons applies to your situation, then you would not be eligible for PUA. But as long as one of those reasons applies to your situation, and multiple reasons might, which is fine, just pick the best one. You don't, have to pick all of them. Then you're fine. And then every week when you file, you're going to answer that question again when you're filing for weekly benefits. It's going to ask you which of these reasons is the reason that you're unemployed. So, that's the other consideration, is that, PUA isn't automatic. It's not a program like regular UC where, you just haven't found work yet. You really have to be unemployed for one of those 11 reasons in the CARES Act. Now, when it comes to, monitoring how many weeks you have, et cetera, right now it's not an issue because the program does end December 26th. So individuals going on to PUA now won't even reach their maximum. If the program is extended, if the feds decide to extend it and we enact that, then what you would want to do is definitely keep track on a calendar of which weeks of PUA you've gotten paid, and make sure you don't exceed those. We are trying to put into our system a what's the word I'm looking for, interface between the two programs to try to limit that. But right now it's not a high priority, only because we do expect the program to end. But if the program were to extend, we would want to get that in. So it's always best to self-monitor. As a side note, even though we're talking about PUA, one of the best tools for anyone on any unemployment program is a calendar. It really is. Like keeping your own calendar about what's happening week to week. It doesn't even have to be an official calendar. I've drawn calendars for different things on a piece of paper. It definitely helps to keep track of everything on a calendar, even if it's a handwritten calendar. So in any case, this is the information that we will be putting on our website with specific, dates, February, I can't remember offhand if it was February 8th, I think might be the first week ending February 8th might be the first week that you count. We'll put the details up there so individuals know. Also, the system does have a way of looking to see if you have, when you open a PUA claim, it'll look to see if you have enough wages to qualify for an unemployment claim. And if you do, it's not going to let you file a PUA claim. So if that's not the case, if you know that you can't, apply for a UC claim because you already have the one on file and you've already finished it, we'll have instructions there as to what to do as well. So keep your eyes peeled on our website, and of course we'll get this information out there so that everybody in your situation knows what it is they can do and what it is they should do.
Thank you very much, Susan. And as a reminder, if you want to ask a question on today's call, please press *3 on your phone keypad to enter the question queue. And if you're streaming the event on our website, you can type your name and question below the streaming player. Talking about the website, here's an online question. This one comes from Stephen, who says, my company reorganized and eliminated my position. I received a severance package, but I've been out of work since July. When will I be eligible to receive unemployment benefits?
Hey, Timothy. Not Timothy, sorry. I was thinking of the last caller. So you mentioned severance, and severance is actually an issue that may delay your unemployment benefits in multiple ways. And actually, for starters, just reporting that you had the severance, that makes us have to look into the issue and see if is it a severance that's high enough for us to have to deduct. What do we have to do with the severance? So that alone, of course, in the beginning causes a little delay as, staff have to get all the information together to be able to make a determination. But the way the severance works, if you remember when you were filling out the initial application, it asked if you had severance and it asked if it was over $21,900. That amount changes year to year. It generally goes up. Changes year to year, and for 2020, it's $21,900. If you have a severance package that was less than that, it's not going to affect your unemployment benefits at all. So once if staff see that, they're going to just it'll be a non-issue, and your claim can proceed. But if it is over that amount, they have to look at a couple things. So first of all, they have to look at the total amount. There's a calculation that they do to determine, how do I describe this? It's not exactly a deduction each week. It's almost like it disqualifies you from benefits for several weeks until the calculation, the money runs out. So, and it's proportional to how big your severance package is. So, like if I had a severance package of $1 million, I'm probably not getting unemployment benefits because the whole 52 weeks of my claim, I'm going to be disqualified. If it's a smaller amount, what the calculation does is it just counts how many weeks that you'll have to wait till you can start benefits. So it doesn't actually take away any money from your maximum amount that you get for the year for unemployment. It just kind of delays the start of it. But if it is a very large package, of course, and let's say you were delayed more than 6 months, then it does affect your maximum benefits only because the claim is going to end before you can collect them all, pretty much. That is kind of rare. Like, we really don't see a lot of huge severance packages that disqualify someone from an entire claim. A lot of times we'll see, you know, maybe someone's delayed for 10 weeks or so, or maybe even just 2 months or something like that. But anyway, you will receive a determination in the mail. It'll explain this. It is also reliant upon the severance money that you're receiving being attached to your work. So let's say it's tied to, you know, how many hours you've worked there or days or something like that. If it were some sort of a package where all employees got all the same amount and, you know, it has nothing to do with an individual, but everyone got the same thing across the board, that would not be deductible. It's only if it's specific to you based on the work that you do there. So with that being said, you do get the determination. It will explain the amounts to you and explain, you know, how the delay will occur and for how many weeks it is. And then you can, you know, your benefits will be able to start after that initial period where you can't receive benefits. Severance pay is weird like that. Like if anyone listening has ever had a pension deduction on a claim, a pension just does a weekly deduction. So you're still going to get paid every week. It's just going to be a lesser amount. But when it comes to severance, it like delays the start of your payments pretty much. So, you know, and it wouldn't be further delayed. I'll specify if, you know, let's say the outcome is that your claim is delayed 8 weeks because of the amount of severance that you get. You know, if it took us 6 weeks or whatever to issue the determination and get that out to you, it's not like it's 6 weeks plus 8 weeks. It's going to start, you know, in the 9th week. So really the severance deduction is what makes a difference as to when you start getting paid. So just make sure that you are filing your biweekly claims so that we have those and that you're staying timely and that the system is then offering them to you. Our system, it's funny, I was just thinking about that yesterday. Our system is still set up to take older biweekly claims. It's offering people older weeks in case they've missed some weeks. This is something we started at the beginning of the pandemic. Normally, we only allow 2 weeks, and that's it. If you don't file on time, the system cuts you off. You would have to get a hold of a staff member to sort that out. So, you know, if you have missed filing any weeks, you should be fine going back 6 weeks. The system will reopen the weeks for you. Just make sure that you keep up with it on an ongoing basis, and you should be fine.
Here's another online question. Ken writes, a PUA claims representative told me my claim, that's 15 weeks in progress, needed an examiner's review because my 2019 income was over a certain threshold. Ken wants to know, what's the income that would disqualify him once they review his claim?
That sounds like a $100,000 threshold, which is one of the fraud measures. We didn't have it at the beginning of the program. It was something that came on later down the line. So what will happen is actually you'll receive an ID.me verification more than likely, and you'll just have to go clear your identification with ID.me, and then once that's done, that would you know, automatically release the payment as long as there was no other eligibility issue. From what you describe, I don't think there is, but you know, it's hard to tell without looking at the claim. But it sounds like that threshold is probably the only one holding you up. We just have to identify you, and then we'll be able to make all your payments. You know, just keep filing your claims and be looking for in your dashboard. Be looking for that pop-up that says you have a message, and then go do the ID.me verification.
All right, let's do another online question, and then we'll get back to the phones. And if you have a question you want to ask, please press *3 on your telephone keypad to enter the question queue. So here's the online question from Chris, who asks, should UC payments include commissions paid plus base pay?
So I'm not totally sure what the question is. I'll give a couple scenarios. Yeah, he asked about UC payment, so I'm assuming he means the payment we're making out and not the earnings that he's reporting to us. Maybe I'll cover both. So when it comes to, I'll be on the safe side. When it comes to reporting earnings to us in order to receive weekly payments, you do need to report all your earnings. So no matter what the source is, you would want to report earnings. Just keep in mind that from traditional employment, it's your gross earnings. From any type of self-employment, side business, something like that, that would be your net earnings. So when we make payments, the weekly benefit amount that you get is entirely based on a table that's in the Pennsylvania unemployment compensation law. So like it gives wages, and actually we also have it replicated on our website. If you wanted to go to our website to look at the table, that's a little bit nicer than looking at it in the law. It's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. So there's a table there that'll say, like, if your highest quarter in your base year is from this dollar amount to this dollar amount, then your weekly benefit will be, and then it'll give an amount. So when someone opens the claim, we send them the financial determination to give that amount, and the financial determination says that your weekly benefit amount is roughly half of what you made working. However, keep in mind that it's based on wage record only, because traditional unemployment isn't for the self-employed. So we don't have self-employed individuals' wages. We only have what's on our wage record, which is from like traditional W-2 type employment. So whatever someone made in traditional employment, it'll be about half of that gross amount is what they receive on a weekly basis. Plenty of times we have individuals who have missing wages, and that's why the financial determination says if there's anything missing from this document, contact us right away and we'll get it squared away. Earlier I mentioned our strict 15-day limit, and that's generally true. So that's why we say contact us right away. So, that's the payments going out won't really reflect if you have, some other side business that you do that isn't traditional employment, whatever it may be, that would not be considered for, regular UC if it's not a covered, the law calls them covered wages. So only covered wages can be used for determining your financial eligibility, and that would pretty much be traditional employment. So anything else wouldn't be considered to establish your claim, but still needs to be reported as earnings as you go through your claim if you do have some sort of little side business that you do. So I don't know if that quite answered the question. I hope it did. I tried to cover a couple different bases there. But there is more information about all, how financial eligibility works and how payments work on our website, www.uc.pa.gov. There's a lot of stuff on our website. So actually, I enjoy the search function. I use it all the time to try to get directly to where I need to go.
All right. As mentioned, we're going back to the phones. We've got Jamal on the line with us. Jamal, thanks for your patience. Go ahead with your question.
Hello. I'm asking about my PUA claim. I got missing weeks. Like, I got a letter saying that it was going to file back 3 weeks prior to the date that I filed. I filed back in May 31st. But prior to that, me filing, they said it was going to go back 3 weeks. And if I didn't make any compensation for those weeks, I would be compensated for those weeks. How do I go about getting them 3 weeks that they be compensated for?
Hi, Jamal. So it will depend on the reason for the benefits being held. So it could be a couple reasons. It could be when you were filing your continuing claim, your weekly claim. Maybe there was something you answered or something that triggered an issue and says, hey, you guys have to look at this issue now. So that could be one reason. It may be an identity filter, as I was mentioning earlier, and that is, a lot of individuals, that's the case, is they're in an identity filter, caught in a filter, and they have to verify their identity before we can proceed. So that actually may be the issue. it is kind of hard to tell. But in any case, the emails about the identity issues will be going out soon, so keep your eye on your dashboard for that. And if that is the case, that'll be an easy fix, quick and easy, and you don't even need us. You can just click on the ID Me link and follow their instructions, and that'll go through. If it is an issue that needs one of our examiners to look at your eligibility and see if you're eligible or not, we should be moving through those. We're getting additional help. We're going to be moving through those a lot more quickly now. So that might also be the case. I know this is very generic. Sorry, it is hard to tell, without knowing what's going on exactly on the claim. But those are typically the two things that would hold up benefits, going back that far.
So we've got Nicole on the line with us now. Nicole, welcome to the call. Go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, I was approved for PUA, and I was issued 2 lump sum payments and checks, but they never arrived, so they were returned. I called the Treasury Department, but they said they put them through, but PUA has to redeposit them on the Relia card now because they're not doing checks. So how do I go about that? Because every time I call, they send me to each other.
Hi, Nicole. If they said they were reissuing them to Relia card, then that actually shouldn't be that long of a process. They do have to check with us under 2 circumstances only, and that is if someone is, asking for payments to be reissued to a different address, that they moved. And that's only because we've had so much fraud. They just want to make sure, they want us to verify, people before they just reissue payments just in case it is something fraudulent. And also along those same lines, if it's out of state, they check with us to see, are you sure we should be reissuing this payment to someone out of state? In your case, since they said that they are actually reissuing them, then that should, it doesn't sound like they do need to talk to us. It sounds like they're just going ahead and doing it, which means you don't fall into either one of those 2 buckets. So those payments, should be made soon. I'm not sure why they would, be looking. There's nothing on our end that we have to do. They, Treasury does all of the payments, whether it be a check or a debit card. They're the ones who are in contact with the debit card company. Labor and Industry doesn't contact the debit card company. So, I would think, if you don't see anything soon, make sure you have that your card is active and things are going and payments are going onto the card generally. Then I would just check again with Treasury because that just seems very strange. There's, nothing that we do in our system which makes it happen. We of course issued the payment in the first place, but once they have it, they have it. So, I'm not sure what that is all about. If anything, if Treasury's really not responding or you're still getting the runaround, I would suggest just sending an email to ucpua@pa.gov, and we'll really dig in with Treasury and figure out, why they keep sending you back to us, because that just doesn't sound right. So, just let us know. But yeah, Treasury should, if they said they're going to reissue it, that should be going to your debit card and without an issue.
Next on the line, we've got Shamika. Hi, Shamika. Welcome to the call. Go ahead with your question, please.
Hi. My question is, I called in about 2 weeks ago because my benefits were exhausted, and I know she partially answered the question as to I may be eligible for PUA. So I just wanted to know, is it like a time frame when the information will be on the website? Because I've been checking every day, so I just wanted to know an update on it, if possible. That's it.
Sure. Hello again, Shamika. It will be soon. Hopefully by tomorrow. I'm gonna take the risk and say by tomorrow. Only because we want to make sure everyone has good information, that we don't have to change it down the road. So we want to make sure we have the right stuff up front. And so in order to file a claim, if you haven't yet, you can look at our PUA page on our website, www.uc.pa.gov/PUA. And there are guides there that show you screen by screen what the initial claim process looks like. So you can, prepare yourself if you want to look through those and see what information you need, what documentation you may have to gather, if any. You can at least get ready and do that. But we should have that information up very soon, especially now that we got our clarification. I know that there was one other thing we were kind of looking into, and that was usage of wages. So as soon as we clarify that, which I think should be soon, we'll make sure everything is up there and everyone has the right dates and the right instructions to be able to get around it, just in case the system is trying to push you over to UC when you know that you're not eligible for UC. So keep watching it and check out our PUA page if you haven't yet to look at the guide.
All right, let's go do a couple of online questions. First one comes from Nichelle, who asks, my business is based in Pennsylvania and my claim has been on hold for a month. Am I allowed to withdraw my PA claim and file in another state that I worked in for the remaining months of the program, or do I have to wait for Pennsylvania?
So I'll address the out-of-state question for both regular UC and for PUA because they're different. So it'd be good for everyone to hear the difference between them. When it comes to filing a regular UC claim, you can only file in states where you have wages in your base year. So, even if you live in a whole completely different state now, if you didn't have wages in your base year in that state, you can't file a claim there. So when it comes to states, your base year, here's the tricky part, the base year in different states is different. It's not all the same. So in Pennsylvania, it's the first 4 of the last 5 completed calendar quarters. This is the first full week in October. So this is the start of the 4th quarter of 2020, which means that your base year, ends not last quarter, because that would be the 5th quarter, but it ends with June 30th. So the base year right now is July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020, if someone's opening a claim this week. So anyway, the base year is different state to state. They have all that information generally on their website. The U.S. Department of Labor also has that information on their website about what it is for different states. So as long as you have wages in a base year, even just $1, you're welcome to file a claim there. You get to choose which state it is, and you can proceed that way. Now, for PUA, because it is a disaster emergency type program, the federal government specified that you must file PUA in the state where you were unemployed at the time that the disaster started. So your base year wages, which for PUA is 2019 for everyone. It doesn't change with the quarters. For PUA, it's just January 2019 to December 2019. So where your base year wages were for PUA doesn't make any difference. It matters where you were working at the time of the COVID unemployment. So if you were, in Pennsylvania doing your work there, and some individuals may actually, especially if you live like right on the border somewhere between 2 states, you may actually have been doing work in 2 different states at the time of the COVID shutdown, in which case you could actually file in one state or the other, not both, of course. So that's what you would have to look at to see, where it is that you may be able to file. So if we do have some FAQs on our website, especially about regular UC claims. I don't know that we do about PUA. I know it's on the federal website, but it may not be on Pennsylvania's. But anyway, those are the generic rules about filing in different states. And you can, look for more information in our frequently asked questions. And of course, if you do ever have a general question about, what it is, where it is you should be filing, you can always email us, either uchelp@pa.gov, which is our general email address, or ucpua@pa.gov, which is for PUA claims.
All right, here's another online question for you. Linda asks, can you reapply for PUA in January if your business is still closed due to COVID?
The answer is no, only because the program ends December 26th. So there won't be any new applications for any weeks that start after December 26th. We're waiting to see if the CARES Act programs get extended. So far they aren't, but once we get into January, there won't be any new claims. Now, of course, we'll still be, I'll add that we still will be processing claims. We'll still have probably some adjudication issues. People will still be filing continued claims for back weeks. So, come December 26th, it's not as if we're shutting down our call center and you won't hear from us from PUA anymore. I mean, we still have a lot of work to do even after the program ends, paying back weeks and things like that. So, but we just won't be able to take any new claims, and individuals won't be able to file for payments for any weeks after December 26th. If there is some sort of a CARES Act extension of any of these programs, we will make sure, that everyone's aware of it. Of course, we always put information on our website, and we'll be able to send that information out so that everyone knows what the situation is.
Thank you very much. Going back to the phones now. Looks like we've got Suzanne joining us. Welcome to the call. Go ahead with your question, please.
Hi, I'm calling in reference to my dashboard. I'm a self-employed sole proprietor, and I submitted all my documents in the beginning, back in March, and I was paid for up until June. And now my dashboard says I'm disqualified, I'm overpaid, and I don't know what's going on. I submitted the same Schedule C that I submitted in the beginning for them to approve me. My letter of monetary determination says I was eligible for the maximum amount. Now they're saying I wasn't, and I don't know what's going on. And I've been trying to reach out to someone since it happened a couple months ago.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
Yeah, that is a good question, actually. If they have lowered your weekly benefit rate, it sounds like perhaps they didn't think that the information that you provided was, solid enough, which is strange. You said it was a Schedule C, so, you would think that would have everything that they needed, unless there was some sort of issue I don't know about, but that sounds like a fairly straightforward example. So if I were you, what I would do is actually file an appeal to that. As I mentioned earlier, we actually don't have the same hard and fast deadlines for monetary eligibility in PUA, so we can still raise your weekly benefit amount if we get the information we need, et cetera. But even so, I would say filing appeal would actually be the better route, only because it may have been, I don't know if it was just an individual interpretation or what was going on, but the appeal would then go to, a third party. The referees are separate from us, so they can remain independent and do their, do their hearings that way, and make sure that they're starting from scratch and looking at the situation with fresh eyes. So you can file an appeal. We have an email address, ucappeals@pa.gov. We are actually working on getting appeals in the PUA system itself is supposed to have appeals functionality where you can submit the appeal right there through your claim in the dashboard. We've been working on it for a couple months to get all that sorted out. It looks like we're close, but you may as well in the meantime just send it via email to ucappeals@pa.gov, and that way we have it and it's in the queue, as opposed to waiting for us to get the link up on the dashboard, because I'm not sure when that's going to be. So that's probably your best route right now, just to try to get it straightened out. The only thing I can think of is that for some reason it didn't support the information they were looking for, but it does sound interesting, only because it is your official Schedule C, so that should be plenty.
All right, next we've got Clifford joining us with a question. Cliff, go ahead, sir. Hello, Clifford.
Yes, I was going on bus. Yeah. I got pandemic unemployment, but I didn't receive nothing. It been delayed. I didn't receive nothing since the end of June, and I contacted them finally, and I uploaded my ID. They said I had to do both sides, my social. But I looked on my dashboard, and something says IP investigation. Under my summary of my claim, says an IP investigation. I want to know what that means and how long would the process be if my ID and everything, identification they needed is okay.
Hey, Clifford. Yeah, it sounds like the IP, that's the address that you would have filed the claim from. Either it was a suspicious one, or if it looks like someone logs in, from different places in a day, it could be suspicious. In any case, it is like an identification issue. So what will likely happen is you will likely soon be receiving our dashboard message about ID Me, and that will be much faster, even though you've already uploaded your documents, and so technically they're belonging to your claim. ID Me is an independent verifier of your identity, and we have it set up so it'll all be automated. So, you won't be waiting for our staff to look through everyone's emails one by one and, resolve as many as they can in a day. We'll be able to do this en masse. So we'll be able to resolve, thousands of claims each day. So be watching your dashboard, and you will receive a message that talks about, click here to go to ID Me and, resolve your identity issue. And then once your identity issue is resolved, if there's no other issues on your claim, then you will be issued payment shortly thereafter.
Thank you very much, Susan. And I must apologize. I usually keep a better eye on the time, but it looks like we are running out of time, or have run out of time. So do you have any closing thoughts for us, Susan?
Thanks, Dirk. I just want to thank everyone for joining me today on my solo day. The secretary will be joining us again in the future. So thank you for your questions. You all had a bunch of great questions today. I've had a lot of people tell me recently, as a coincidence, that they do listen in, and they have learned a lot about various parts of unemployment that they didn't know before. So, keep them coming. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Susan, for your time and all of your insights. And for everyone on the call, to keep up with Pennsylvania labor and industry updates, please visit www.uc.pa.gov. And once again, if we were unable to address your question, please send an email to uchelp@pa.gov. A hearty thank you to everyone for taking the time to participate in this call. We hope you stay healthy and safe, and have a wonderful day.